There we are. There we are.
Happy Monday. Hello, Patricia, Dana, Ann, Celine, Kathy. How is everybody? I love this guy.
I just enjoy the awkward silence as she's trying to figure out.
I'm not used to silence with you, sir.
Really?
Yes.
Hello, Anna. How's everyone doing? Yeah, it's been a while. We've been busy. Lots going on. We are T-minus Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, till the wedding. The wedding is on Saturday. And man, oh man, has it been a humdinger. Trying to get everything situated. Brian Raleigh has been right there with me.
You've been in the trenches.
The good, the bad, the ugly, and the pizza. We have, wow.
Hey, Donna.
We've had so many little things that are just like coming up here and there. Even with the marriage license, we had an issue with that, and it was just like one thing after another. I mean, and they're not. I mean, the marriage license is a big deal, but like the other stuff is like little tiny things that we're trying to work out for the ceremony and for organizing it and everything. And it's just like, you would think that we were throwing a $20,000, $30,000 bridezilla wedding the way all the
well, the funny part is
cleaning the crap.
I actually wish that what happened where the marriage license was true. I literally went from 30, I became 30 years older.
Younger.
No.
They had you listed as younger.
They had me as younger, and I literally became 30 years older in a day with it getting changed. So they had my age at 27 on the marriage license, which, you know what? You know, they're little paper, little papers you have to blow up to read and stuff, because it was sent to us to proofread through an email. And I didn't catch it. I didn't catch where it said 27. I'm 57. We looked at everything, but did not catch that. Chip Coffee did. Chip Coffee read it over very carefully, and he goes, "Hey, do you know they have your age is 27? And I thought he was poking fun, and I'm like, nah, get out of here. I looked at that. I could have sworn it said. He goes, no, check it again. Sure enough. Now, John liked the idea of a 27-year-old for the wedding.
The moral of the story is that if I don't take control of everything, there are chances that something's going to go wrong. I mean, that's really the truth of the matter. Because I didn't check this document, I trusted someone
Hi,
else.
Tanisha.
Chip Coffee caught it right away, and somebody else didn't.
Maybe it was wishful thinking.
Hey,
who knows? Who
I
knows?
don't know, man.
But I literally was aged, 30 years in one day, just by a little type thing. Boop. You're no longer 27.
If you've never filled out a marriage license, like if anything is wrong on there,
Sugar daddy's right.
Right, a whole lot of sugar though, fortunately. Um, Anything is wrong on a marriage license, you have to get it amended, and that could take 6 months, and then
And longer.
you're not officially married, even though you went through a ceremony. It's just the whole thing. And anyway, we got it resolved, but we had to go back to FedEx and send it all to Chip in Georgia so that he can get it in time to fill it out and get it back to us after the ceremony. Just a big pain in the butt. Anyway, but little things here and there. We're hoping to have a setup where everybody can see the ceremony, including Chip, on the screen, along with the two of us, and that, and we're going to be streaming it. We mentioned that today. So if you guys aren't in Jersey and you can't make it, it'll be on New Jersey Paranormal. You'll be able to see the whole ceremony. So you can be with us even though you're not with us.
Can't put white out on it, Heather.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
But they're very, and I even had to send an instruction sheet with certain highlights to Chip, because if he writes on the line a title that is not accepted in New Jersey, they'll kick it back and we will not be married. So the woman, I give this woman all the credit in the world, the register. She sat down and she went through it very specifically all through, and she really wanted to make it where everything was flawless. You can appreciate that, because some people just don't care, and she did.
So that we had the same issues that when during COVID we had Chip did the virtual gallery reading during COVID, and we had a nightmare of a time streaming from the auditorium. Then we kept losing the Wi-Fi. It would connect and not connect. It would be perfect during one test and not during the other. And Brian and I, thank God for Brian and Carl. Brian and I and Carl were up there trying yesterday, like for 5-6 hours, to get this thing working using all these different methods. And we're close. We're gonna go back up on Wednesday and try to really get it perfect. We have it good enough, but it's not perfect. Meaning we can do it. It's gonna happen, but we want to do it better than we have. So it was it was and it was raining yesterday, so we got to see if it does rain on Saturday, will the rain come into the pavilion, which it didn't.
No.
Where the tables are that are going to have the food on it, none of those tables were wet. We didn't get wet. Everything was fine. So by chance, if it does rain, we'll be covered and everything will be cool.
No, you don't have to do blood work anymore. Those days are gone. But you do have to. There's a 72-hour hold that they do to check out. They do. That they check to make sure that you're not legally married to anyone else, and there's it's all that good stuff.
But yeah, it's it really we're getting to the nitty gritty, and now we're doing. I hate to say it because it's gonna sound really really bad, but this is like the expo. Oh, I mean, honestly, this week
this was supposed to be.
I said
simple.
to her, this is expo week. We're running around like crazy doing a million things. The last week before the expo, this is what we do. So and it feels like
to clue you in, the reason why it's become a little bit something more was because when we got up there the first time, where the TV will be for the Zoom or for the live of Chip being brought in to the ceremony, you'll be able to see John and I, but the way the poles are for this pavilion, you won't be able to see Chip that well.
I mean,
so Brian and John came up with bringing these 2 more TVs, putting on either side and putting on stands. So they're really trying to make sure that everybody has a good time when they come. And again, I admire and give John and Brian a lot of credit.
Brian, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I
all
know.
the stuff he's
Brian.
done.
If you guys see Brian, shake his hand. That's all
We
I'm going to
had
say. Shake his
we
hand
had
and
the
say thanks.
it was a pain in the you know what, but we had such a good time yesterday.
Hey, everybody coming on.
Brian knows a lot more about computers and networking and all that stuff than I do, but we couldn't figure out this one issue. We had an adapter, a splitter, we had all this different stuff, iPad, laptop. We were trying everything. So Brian and I have to go to Best Buy, and we go to Geek Squad, and there was one guy there, and he was a young guy. He really didn't know what to do, and he directed us. He goes, "You just got to talk to those three guys over there. They know all about Apple and all that other stuff." So there were three guys, probably, if I had to guess, in their 30s, early 30s, late 20s, and we're just sitting there watching them go back and forth with each other, talking about solutions. Brian and I are just like, it was like watching a tennis match. We were like,
with a third thrown in.
because one was like, you can do this, but no, that won't work.
Ding,
You
ding,
can do
ding,
this,
ding.
this, and this, but that won't work. What you can do with this, and this, and that won't work. And then they finally told us
A solution that would
something would work, and then Brian came up with something. So anyway, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna do this,
It's gonna
and
be a great day.
it's gonna be really, really good. And we're looking forward to it. Carl Germania Park is being really, really good to us and working with us and allow us to come there early and do everything we need to do. Go there often to try to. It is just like the expo. We've been there like we're the
But
expo
mind you,
week.
this place gets rented out for other events, so they're really bending over backwards.
Yeah, but
for
the
us.
expo week, we're at the school like that whole week, like planning and space planning and setting. It's like
Thank you, Deanna. That's
it
very
feels
nice of
like
you.
that, you know. But anyway, it'll be here really, really quick. But we did have an event this past weekend that we had a lot of fun at Liberty Hall. It was a good night, a strange night, fun night. We had some fun afterwards too. Hung out way too late.
Oh,
I had to get up
way
early,
too
man.
late.
I'll get to that in a minute. But we were at Liberty Hall first time this year. Love Liberty Hall. I thoroughly enjoy the Carriage House. That's where I always go when I'm there. Um, we got not a lot. We got some good EVPs. In the basement, there's a little girl, and she talks when she wants to talk. And when she does talk, she talks a lot. So we got really good EVPs. One of the EVPs was really clear. She said, I've been dead forever." That was actually a statement by her. And it was clear, I've been dead forever. And there were a lot of other things where she was talking and saying words and answering questions. And I like it because I'm the type of person where we've done this before, where you could have a whole entire building that it could be 10 stories high and have 100 rooms in it. But if you get into one room and it's happening and it's happening a lot and you're connected with one person, it's really, really hard to leave that area. And I was fortunate enough to have people with me that were like, hey, if it's happening, let's stay here.
Yeah, why would you want to lose
what
that?
we did with other groups, there was a couple of groups that were like, no, we're
getting interaction. Why would you walk away from it? Why would you hang up the phone when you're having a discussion, as I say?
And that's what we were talking with Liberty Hall afterwards with the people that we that we worked with there. And it was just a conversation we were having about why stay in one place talking to one spirit, one person. And we were kind of saying that, well, you could be in a room full of people and yet say out loud, anybody here like the Yankees? And one person steps forward and, yeah, I'm a Yankee fan, and you start talking to that person and you get to know them, and maybe you find out you have more in common, and blah blah blah. It's no different with the paranormal stuff. The negative ones may approach you just because they want to be aggressive or make their presence known regardless. But others, it's like, again, tapping into that frequency. You could be in a room with multiple spirits and yet only one is willing to connect with you. And when that happens, it's a willing person that's willing to talk to you. Why wouldn't you?
Why would you want to shut that down?
Reach out to that person on every group that comes in and say, hey, here's a new group of people. Could we talk more about what you told me with the last group, or maybe you could talk to some of these people? We leave it open to whoever's there, of course. But yeah, we're going to address that one person who has come through,
Wow.
and yet leave it open for others. So that's kind of why we do what we do. But I had a good time in the carriage house. I had two experiments that literally, again, it's comparative to Brian did the whole setup at home, and it worked perfect. That we're going to do for the wedding, and yet intermediate part, nothing worked. It was the same. I had this two different things I was going to try at Liberty Hall in the carriage house, and neither one. That's why we get there early. That's why we get there early. I get there, I test it out, and I'm like, oh, great. So I just take whatever I was doing and I throw it in a bucket, and I'm like, okay, back to doing whatever
but
we're doing.
That's the other kicker too, which is unique. You have a mindset of how you think the night is going to go, or what you're going to do, or what your experiments are going to be, and you get to the location, and the location seems to have a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And so everything that you planned out and what you thought was going to be, what your night was going to be like, totally just got wiped right out, and you've got to start from scratch. And that's, I think, another thing that's really unique. And I have to be honest, observing and watching John has made me better at this, because I am an OCD person. I'm a very literal person. So when I have a plan or a mindset, it's really hard for me to come out of that and be spot on the moment type of person when it comes to investigations, because I'm very analytical about stuff. Watching him and what he does, and how he can immediately, even though he said something planned out, drop something and come up with a whole new experiment in a moment that's catered to the area that he's at with the activity, has really made me a better investigator, because I've learned by watching him how to do that.
We've been in so many buildings throughout the years, and there's one particular building where back in those days we had a lot of EMF detectors, and that was mostly what we used.
Yeah.
And we get into this building, and there was not a spot in the building where the EMF wasn't off the charts high.
So that knocked out a lot of your equipment.
Old building with horrible wiring. And we came in there all ready to go, and we brought all of our equipment with us. And again, most of it was EMF detectors. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh, can't use this. Oh, can't use that. Oh, can't use. And we were down to, nothing but recorders. And it was just like, but that taught me, again, never take anything for granted.
No.
Give the spirits options and give us options, because, like you said, you have to adjust.
And you do.
Adapt.
Deanna is saying all the stuff that's going on in her house.
Yeah.
Another thing is weather. Weather affects what's happening and what's going on in the space you're in. Hot day, stormy day. Thank God it stopped raining by the time we got to the location. But I was up in a very active, we miss you too, Deb, very, very active. I'm sorry, Deb. We wish you could be there, but we're going to do it live so you can watch it. So the attic, I'm up in the attic, and the attic, it's when I first got up there, it was cool. But as the night went on, and then we started bringing people up there, there's bodies. It did get hot. It was funny, because it seemed to, because of it being hot and humid up there, we actually used that to engage, because like I told the people coming up into that area, there never was central air, central heat here. They didn't have that up there. So this is a cooler night. Could you imagine what they went through? Use the different things that that these people experience, that you're sitting and you're experiencing, and see if you could get reactions. And it actually, they started getting responses, certain people more than others. And then I did an experiment I'm not going to get into the whole how I did it, other than the fact that, I had people switching into spaces and stuff. and finding out that they all were having similar experiences without even them knowing it in the same areas. And that was unique. So it was an experiment in seeing how it the energy of the spirits there, the energy of the house, holding what it was holding through the years, and did the interchanging of energies of people change that in any way or create. And we did find out that there are certain people that went into this one room that they felt peace, calm, tranquility, and they loved it. Then there were two people who went into this same space that immediately suffered anxiety. They felt like an aggressive type of pushback in the energy. And it was very unique because what was it about those two people that created that? And what was it that the other ones got the more secure, the safe, tranquil? What was it about their energy that changed that? Because that's the only thing that changed was the people walking with the energy. And it was one person at a time at different times. And this was through the night. So nobody knew. And after we were done, we had the conversation and nobody knew what room anyone picked because they'd all gone off in the dark to do their own. And I knew which ones. So when they started saying, I said, do you not realize that you got the same thing that person was feeling in that space? Why is that? What is unique about the two of you that made that connection with that energy or that spirit in that room? And that was what. And there was one room, which is hysterical, that not one, and it was the biggest area too. That's what I didn't get. The biggest room, and it was the nicest room up there. That's where the main cook lived. Nobody wanted to go in there. It wasn't until the third group, and it was one of the tour guides who went in there. And she actually shared what she got in there, and then she went down because she wasn't going to say anything at first. She goes, no, nothing, nothing. And then she finally shared at the end that she felt a heavy weight. She felt something watching her, and it was very not happy that she was in that space, basically. And so she goes away, and then other people come upstairs, and there are two people who decided to go into that room on the last group. And one walked in, and he came out, and he was like, yeah, I don't get anything. And then the third person went in there, and they came right out and go like, I don't like that room. I feel like I'm being watched. I feel like, there's this aggressive person in there, doesn't want me around. And we did EVPs in that room, and we definitely got responses. Definitely, we got this like growl kind of thing. We got talking in the background. It answered someone very specifically. My brain was mush, so there were specific questions that they got the answer. And then at the end, we all stood in a circle, and we did a little session, and I got told to never come back, which was funny, but someone else got we said, what is it that you want to tell us that we're not, because they wanted help everywhere for the night, right? We kept getting help.
I got it twice during the same session.
Well, that's what we were getting. We were getting help. We need help. And so I was telling everybody, so we're not getting what it is that they need help with. Maybe we need to get more specific. Maybe we need to, facilitate that in some way. So I said to the spirits there, what is it that we can help you with? What are we missing? And all of a sudden we got buried underneath. And that's how we ended the night, buried underneath.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't bring John's office there after all. Because he's going to tell us how the mafia had people dumped there too and cause a whole ruckus. But it was. I love going back to that place because the mansion is beautiful. If you get a chance to just tour it, go tour it. The mansion's beautiful. The carriage house is awesome.
All original stuff.
The garden is amazing. It's just a great location in general to just go and tour and learn about. And the people there are great that support it. It's always fun when you're doing stuff and something happens, and the people that are there all the time are like, I had one person, Megan, who I really like, and some some of the volunteers slash docents or whatever, they want to join in, and we have no problem with that whatsoever. They're volunteering their time, and if they want to participate, we're all for that. But others are like, well, this isn't for us; it's for them. They paid or whatever, and I get both, aspects of that. But we don't discourage them from not participating. In fact, they're there all the time. They know way more about the history than we do, so we kind of,
And the spirits know.
yeah, we're like, hey, they see you more than they see me. So Megan, when we got that voice, that EVP that said, I've been dead forever. I mean, everybody kind of looked at each other, and she was just like, look, I experienced a lot of things here. I didn't want to, this is your thing, all of you. I didn't want to chime in and, take away from what you're doing, but, this just validates I do have a lot of experiences in this building and the other building,
That's
which is really cool,
It is, because she's the one that had that in the room there where we're talking about. The other thing that was really bizarre that happened, hey Roger, I see you on there. That was really bizarre is that Travis came upstairs with his flashlight, and as he's coming up, the flashlight just died, shut off. So I gave him one of mine, and all of a sudden, in the middle of what we're doing in the dark, and he's down the hall, he calls me. So I come down there, and he sounded really concerned, upset. I thought he had an experience because I heard a voice, which turned out to be somebody's app, which scared the crap out of me because it's a creepy voice. So I thought that's what was coming down the hall.
Oh, sure.
I did.
I'm surprised I didn't hear
And so
that.
as
Oh,
soon
from the
as no,
Kara's
I
house.
didn't. So as soon as that voice came, and then all of a sudden I hear Travis go, Grace, and I go down there to make sure he's okay, and he goes, I don't know what it is, but he had his flashlight in pieces. He had the casing, the lid off, and then the battery pack was sitting on the thing. He goes, makes no sense. I immediately unscrewed it because it wasn't working. I was gonna, it. I just left it on the thing and was doing what we're supposed to do over here with the experiment. And he goes, and I reached down, and the batteries are super hot. And I said, okay, then let me. And I always thought they were just gonna be warm. I picked them up, and they're so hot they burn you. And so I had to grab them very carefully. And I said, we're going to remove them from the building. So we had the docent take them out and put them out and take them out of thing. And I asked the docent, because this is important. Whenever you're doing anything, ask questions to find out what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah,
did the batteries cool off as soon as you left the building? Or did they continue to keep getting hot? Because they were so hot, I had to hand the batteries and the casing to him very carefully so he wouldn't burn himself. That's how hot they were. And when I mean hot, I mean it was like somebody put a fire under it. So of course I was worried that they were going to implode. So I give it to him. He takes them out, and he said that he took them out of the casing. He goes, and as soon as he came out of the building, they were cool. They were cooling off. It wasn't like it kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter, which was happening up in the attic. Travis then reached out to me later, and he says, I thought that flashlight was dead, no good. That destroyed it. He said he put the stuff back together and it works just fine. No issues. Yeah. So go figure. What created that?
Don't know. Yeah. Again, that's what I liked about first time around into a building that we haven't been in for a while. You just never know.
I have no idea what happened in Nikki's group. Is Nikki still on here?
I don't know. But we're taking old.
No, I'm just curious if she had a lot of activity.
But again, we're going to be back there in September with John.
Yeah.
This time, which means there'll probably be a combination thunderstorm, snowstorm.
I'm bringing holy water.
Tornado warning /
and salt.
Lightning storm. So, and then we're going to be back there again in November. I think the day after my birthday, we're going to be there, which is the week after the expo. We're going to be back there, which is cool. That should be fun. But so our usual ritual is when we're done for the night. And now summertime, the events run longer because it gets dark later. So we don't finish our events till midnight, clean up 12:30. If we're lucky, we get out at 12:30. And then we're in the parking lot talking about what we're going to do, where we're going to go. Usually it's a Wawa or Quick Check or whatever. But we had Tracy there and Joe there, and Nikki was there, and Danielle was there, and so we're all hanging out in the parking lot, and we're like, they want to eat. So we found the Tropicana. Tropicana open till 4 o'clock in the morning, believe it or not, in Union. So we go ahead down there and we just got food and sat and talked and laughed and had a really good time. But it's like 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, and we're about a half hour from Union, and I had to get up at 7. So I'm like, I got to go if I'm going to get sleep. I mean, you know, but we had such a good time. There was weird stuff that happened in the diner too.
Lord, was there ever?
So I'll fill you in on this one really, really quick. I had to use the restroom, and I there's only two options available. Two, there's the stand up option. I won't get into graphic detail, and then there's the sit down option. Stand up option was taken, so I went to the sit down option. Close the thing, latch it, and when I I heard the person who's using the stand up option. I heard the door open and shut. Then I heard somebody else come in. So I come out of the stall, and standing at the stand up option is a man. Don't really know how old, probably 40s or whatever. He's facing the wall using the stand up option. And behind him, right in front of me, is a girl who was probably, if I had to guess, 11, 10 ish, looking straight down at the ground. So I was like, whoa, you know? So I went and washed my hands real quick, dried them off, and I went out. Now, again, we were talking at the table because, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I wouldn't feel good about leaving my daughter unattended inside a diner with people who are out at 2 o'clock in the morning because most are drinkers or whatever. And, you know, so I get why he brought her in there, but
for her safety.
Yeah, that was kind of.
There was people that were coming in and out of there.
That was kind of weird.
You wouldn't want to leave your daughter. Yeah, I felt bad for the girl but that was this thing.
But that and
I probably would have cleared the bathroom first before I brought her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I came out and I sat down. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, you're not gonna believe what just happened. And I told them, and I said, so we could see the bathroom, and I'm like, right there, right there. And then he comes walking out, and she comes walking out. I'm like, that poor girl. I mean, I get it, but I was like, oh, God. I mean, I had to take my son into the restroom with me when he was like 2, but he was.
But he's your son.
A little fella, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
But anyway, we had a good time. We joked and we laughed, and we just had a good time. I hadn't seen Tracy and Joe in a while.
No, that was
so we
nice.
got to hang out with them, and we all got to talk about the night and just laugh.
Nikki said there was the basement had activity. They were speaking throughout the night with Mary McGuire, the cook, who is known as the mean cook. I mean, she was a no nonsense. There's a unique story about that I'm not going to tell you. You guys got to take the tour because she has a very unique story and a connection with Keene. Mary Alice Keene, and at the end of the night, Henry, who wasn't happy speaking with everyone. So the unique thing about, I told Danielle on the second floor, I usually do the second floor, and I gave her that we had her do that floor the night, and I told her the toy room was Stuart's bedroom, and he was the ladies' man of the house, and I said he will interact with any of the pretty girls that you bring, and she said sure enough that's exactly what happened. Stuart immediately connected with the young girls and the pretty girls immediately. And I said, that's all you need to do to get Stuart to come out. Because they told us the story about how he would sneak girls up that back staircase that goes up into the attic to come into his room because his room was right there, right off the staircase. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if she got too much with Captain John.
Yeah.
I know I can't go in that room. He gets very frustrated with me. But they seem not to have that problem.
I think John's in general.
John's in general, blah, blah, blah.
With you. I think it's just, I don't think it's
really, okay.
No. But I had my new toy with me. I had this, it's not a car, but it's a flat thing that has wheels on it. And there are the cars that you can, If you put your hand and the back of it, a sensor triggers it to move forward. And if you put your hand in the front of it, it turns the headlights on. This thing doesn't look like a car. It looks more like a box, but it has 4 sensors, 2 on the sides, 2 in the front. And the sensors are designed to sense motion. And if anything triggers the motion, it'll move in the position of whatever triggered it. So if somebody in theory were to walk in the front of it, it would trigger the sensor and it would roll forward. If they were to move on the side of it, it's going to turn and go that way, and the lights come on. So only one time, first group, and I love it because this means it works, and it it just doesn't go
It's
off
not
all the
false
time
positives.
for any reason. The first group we were with Mike and Cheryl, and Mike is standing there, and it moved a little on its own, and I missed it, and everybody's like, "Oh, it just moved," and I was like, "Damn, it moved, and I missed it." And then after a while, it resets and the lights go off, and we're all in the dark, and you hear it rolling, and I'm like, "Is that it rolling?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, where is it?" And everybody turns on their flashlight. It's heading from the back of the stable, rolling right at Mike and turning right into his feet.
No way.
It was pretty cool, and it was just like, wow.
Did it
And
freak
it
him
never ever did that again to anybody else.
That was just that
No,
one
he
time,
was,
and that
he
was
was
like,
happy about it.
you got a big kick out of
Yeah.
it.
And it
Yeah.
was the only time it worked the whole entire night, the only time it moved. But that was pretty cool, again, for a new piece of equipment. But it was a good time at Liberty Hall. We enjoyed it. The Centenary University event has 1 ticket available, but someone just asked for 2. So I'm probably gonna figure out a way to
Yeah.
accommodate both of them. So that event's sold out. So that's the July 5th event. The next event that I'm going to announce, I have to check the date for certain. I think it's the first Saturday in August, but I need to confirm it, and my phone is up there. The next event that's going to have tickets available is Back to the Mine again, but this time with Katrina Weedman from Paranormal Lockdown and Paranormal State. First time we've ever done an event with her. I like Katrina. I think Katrina's really cool to talk to.
She's a great person.
She's, again, you want to talk about someone. She was booked to come to Para Unity last year. Saturday, she got in a car accident, hit head on when she was leaving. She came back for Sunday because she said that people traveled and were expecting to meet her. She had every right to just say, "My car is wrecked." She was probably sore, I'm sure.
Yeah. How can you not be when you get hit head on?
And she was there the whole entire day.
She did.
So I like Katrina. I'm curious to see how she investigates. And those tickets, if you're interested now, you can email me. It's probably going to be, well, I actually probably don't email me yet because I need to, again, figure out the date and all that other stuff. So don't email me yet. It's going to be August. I think it's the first Saturday. I'll put up a post and I'll announce it. But that's going to be the next event with tickets available will be August. And again, it worked out weird this year because we're going to the Battlefield Bash in July, and the whole schedule just worked out weird this year. So that'll be the next one, August. And then we get into, believe it or not, all the fall stuff.
We have the June 21st with Dalen.
Yeah, there's like 4 tickets available for that one, but that's pretty much set.
Yeah.
But if you want tickets for that one, for Dalen, if you want to come June 21st to the mine, you can email NewJerseyParanormal@yahoo.com. It's $100 per person. We could fit probably 4 more people.
We're talking to Dalen tomorrow night, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I went over the. I'm sorry. I jumped the tracks. I didn't keep it in line of.
no.
Whoops.
Pacing is very, very difficult. She'll talk 30 minutes about something that happened up in the attic, and then she wants to go to the end of the story because she finished our attic session. But anyway, yes, speaking of Dalen will be on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with us. So I didn't put the. Yeah, there's only one event in July. As far as I know, there's only the one.
Okay, part of July we're going to one weekend's the bash, another one's an event. Well, there's another reason why too, isn't there?
I'm no, I'm pretty sure that's only the one. Again, I got to check the schedule, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, before I get sidetracked, Dalen's going to be on with us tomorrow. Dalen Spratt from Ghost Brothers. So we're going to talk to him at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk about graveyard shift. That's something he does, and um, we're going to talk about how he got into doing that, and we'll probably talk about specific cases that he has done. I mean, if you don't know what graveyard shift is, it's Dalen's YouTube channel, and we'll get into it tomorrow, describing what it is and what he does and how he does it.
And then you guys can ask questions too.
But there's a lot there that I want to talk about just based on that alone. And we're going to talk about, again, other stuff that he's up to. And we're going to talk about the mine, film in on the mine and what the mine is like. And we'll talk about the mine event. So it'd be good, again, for you guys to see Dalen if you don't know who he is. Hear the interview. And if you want to grab those last 4 tickets, New Jersey Paranormal at yahoo.com. You can email today. If you see the interview and you like Dalen and you don't know who Dalen is, maybe you want to buy them tomorrow, but they're still available. But, you know, that event's pretty close to being sold out, completely sold out.
And
I mean, we're in a comfortable place now, but we could fit 4 more people. Have you watched every?
Kathy has watched every episode.
Yeah, I have not watched one, to be honest with you. I've seen clips, but I've not seen a full episode. And I have an idea of what he does, and that's what I want to talk to him about. I think it's very interesting concept, but I don't want to get into it now because we're going to get into it tomorrow. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, watch. We'll be on live again.
You're interested in what? Again, I'll be the first one to tell you. It's like I don't keep track of too many things because my brain has been mush. If you guys knew the crazy town that it's been around here, John has had to deal with a lot with me. I lost my keys today. Come find my keys. What else? I lost a card that I needed with an important number. I mean, I lost a lot of things. Like, I've been driving this guy crazy. Every 2 seconds, I'll come out and like, that's gone.
Deanna, were you saying that you were interested in, we'll ignore this one. Deanna, were you saying that you were interested in the Dalen event? Is that what you were saying you were interested in before Chris went on her tangent for 10 minutes? Is that what you were referring to?
I'm just saying.
So we can get back.
Chris is definitely not.
She is sabotaging the wedding. She's subconsciously sabotaging the wedding. I do believe her subconscious didn't check that thing on purpose, and
I wasn't checking. It's just I didn't see the typo where it said 27 instead of 57.
Okay.
That's what.
So you say.
It. So
you say.
What can I say?
But no, Dalen will be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and whatever questions you guys have for him about Ghost Brothers or whatever it is he's doing, he'll be at the expo as well with the rest of the Ghost Brothers. But he'll be there on the 21st at the mine. Again, our first time doing an event with him. We met Dalen a bunch of times now, but it'll be our first time doing an event with him. Like my shirt.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper. That's my drink.
I don't even drink Dr. Pepper. I just like the colors, and I like old time shirts that have like logos on them and stuff.
I don't drink it often, but that's like my favorite soda, Dr. Pepper. It's got a kick.
Just a matter of time for Scooter's hulking in there. He's in there saying, "Just let me in, coach. Let me in. Let me in."
Hey, what can I say?
But yeah, we Creeper Gallery was a no-go for this week. We've got way too much to do. Yeah. So Wednesday we're going to be busy with wedding stuff.
Family's coming in starting on Wednesday, so it's. I mean, here on out, it's going to be crazy.
Hey, we'll do a live with the family. So they'll really get a insight into.
I think
you won't just see
the
apple from the nut tree. You'll see.
Oh, he is rolling those eyes, Celine. That's not the only thing he's rolling.
What else am I rolling? What does that even mean?
You never seen that?
No, what does it mean?
World's smallest violin.
No.
We are going to drink this weekend after the ceremony's over. Where we are definitely. I am definitely going to have a drink. I can't say I'm not. I can have drinks. It'll be a drink.
You want to stay up, right? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
no, we're kind of talking about after the weddings from. Well, we have access to Germania Park from 2 to 6. That's what time we'll be there, and what happens after that is what we're trying to figure out. Of course, we're going to hang out with family and do stuff, and
Good night, Ann.
but we're trying to figure out what we can do to where if people want to hang around a little longer and have a few more drinks at Germania Park. We'll see if we can work that out. If not, maybe we'll go down to the local liquor store and hang out in the parking lot. We'll slum it. Or we'll buy a bunch of 12 packs or cases and go to some park somewhere.
Maybe the hotels where some people are staying has a bar.
What castle? Now you're talking.
Who said what? Heather.
That'd be a good time.
The parking lot at White Castle? Yeah.
That's Jersey.
That would be interesting. That's great advice, Deanna. We're definitely going to step back, and I'm looking forward to all the different ones that are our family and our good friends and people that are coming for this. I'm looking for, I get to see my daughter first, my daughter and my grandson and son-in-law. They're going to be there, and I can't wait.
It's
Celine says there's this that has a bar.
The hotel? Again, the whole wedding is, you just can't wait to be in the moment. You know what I mean? It's all the anticipation and the anxiety leading up to, but once our friends are there and our family is there, and, we're even trying to figure out even now, like, because people are like saying to me, Brian's like, you don't want to be there. Like when everybody gets there, you want to, like stay, somewhere for a while and then come out. Because if you're there when everybody gets there, they're all going to want to talk to you. And I'm just like, well, why? I don't get it. Is that weird? Like why?
And traditionally the bride and but it's not traditional. Wedding. Now I won't be there until it's time.
Well, that's normal for you, I mean, but for me, I mean.
Dan said there's a White Castle next to their hotel too.
Yeah, we'll go fast.
So the bar and the dude.
That's why we're trying to enjoy it, but we're also trying. Look, a lot of good people are helping us out, and we've been very fortunate. With a lot of things that we've done, and again, people are just like, well, help, we'll pitch in. People are bringing, again, potluck. People are bringing food. I mean, it's amazing the number of people that want it to be part of this and come to this and help. And again, Carl and Germania Park and everybody from there, his wife, and I mean,
Heather,
they're just being amazing to us. And Cheryl and Mike are going to be there helping out. Brian and Ann and Taylor.
They're members of there, and they're there to help with the cooking and stuff. And Anna and Taylor have really stepped up and taken care of all the stuff with the food. I mean, that they've been reaching out to you guys, and and you guys have been reaching out.
What time's the actual ceremony going to be on Facebook?
About 3.
You think 3:00?
Oh yeah, because 2:00, people are going to start coming in. The food's set up. Everybody has the opportunity to go get a drink from the bar. Get everybody, centered back and sitting. By 3:00, everything should be ready for a go. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an hour.
That's what?
An hour. Well, I don't think you need.
Is there a W in hour? I had to make you say it twice because I heard it the first time, but Very unique.
I am. Thank you.
HOWA. Howa.
I didn't say how. I
No,
said
it's
hour.
OWA.
Hour.
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 60 minutes. How about that?
Oh my God.
Good night, Brian.
Good night, Brian. Poor Brian. Drove that guy nuts. Half the people that are friends with us now won't be after this whole thing is over. But anyway, we wanted to come on because, again, we're going to be busy. Tomorrow night we'll be on with Dalen. It'll be good to speak to Dalen about, again, Graveyard Shift. Check out his YouTube channel. You get an idea.
And he does a crime podcast.
Well, we're going to talk about all that tomorrow. You get a good idea of what he does. That was kind of the crux of having him on because he is going to be joining us. And if you don't know who he is, you get to know him. He's been on before, but we've never really talked about Graveyard Shift.
No.
That really, after seeing, I follow his feed and seeing what he's doing and how he's doing it, I often wonder what people feel about that, how he gets involved with the people who he works with. I mean, there's a lot there to unpack. So really, really, really interesting. And one of the things we were going to do tonight that we didn't have time because we were, again, running around and we're cleaning everything and all that other stuff. I saw, what is it called again? Sound healing, I think it's called. It's where they use not the magic rocks, but they use the magic bowls to create the sounds for healing. And the person who does it is the person who used to do the art. Yeah. I love that aura art. She doesn't do that anymore.
That's too bad.
She did amazing with that. Really, but Gia does that. So Gia is now doing the sound healing. So she's like, go on YouTube and check it out. Because I said to her, would you consider coming on and we'll sound bad. There you go. She's like, go on YouTube, check it out. And I said, well, I want to talk about this, find out what it is and how it works or whatever. So she's like, go on YouTube, check it out. The first video I picked. Now it sounds beautiful, but I told her it depresses the hell out of me.
You did.
I literally put 2 videos on for a minute like each and closed my eyes, and I got so damn depressed because here's like the average one. It's they hit the first thing and it's like ooh, and that's a constant. And then there's the other sounds, the frequencies higher and lower from the but that one sound the whole entire time, followed by low, low, a little high, low. I was thinking of every dog I had that died and every person I lost, and I'm like, this is depressing the hell out of it. This is healing. I mean, so she was gonna do.
You know why you felt depressed? Because it shut everything down, and you know how like you don't like to be
evil.
That because your brain's always going do. You can't stop because if you do, you do suffer from depression. That's why you can't stop, and you always have to keep going. You never can sit still, and that's exactly what you fall into when you sit still. So that music tapped into that. No. It shut everything down and tapped into it.
It's devil music. But I'm still interested in finding out about it.
Nikki said, "We're crystal bowls, or for you, John, magic rock bowls."
Well, but anyway, we were supposed to do a Zoom with her at 3:00 today, and she was going to do a demo because she's not sure if the mic will work for the actual session, and we had to cancel that for next week. But I'm an explorer.
Celine says her son Ryan has them, so you could actually pull yours out and practice as she's instructing. Celine.
I am an explorer. I'm willing to try, and I'm telling you what we're going to try. We can't do it this time because we have an event on June 21st. But Gloria, who we did the medium thing with, she is doing the smoke thing again on the beach with the drums.
Oh, I want to do that.
I'm going to do some edibles and join them and.
You do some edibles.
I don't see any other way it's going to work. I mean, if I'm just sitting there on the beach drumming and looking at smoke, you know me, I'm gonna be like, come on, man, we're looking at the smoke here. You know what I mean? It's like looking at the
But
cloud.
what if it's the collective of everybody that's creating?
It's like looking at the clouds and seeing Donald
Doesn't
Duck
matter. It's an experience.
and whatever. It's
an
no different.
experience to
Sorry,
find
Gloria,
out.
if you're watching.
You need to get in touch with your inner
But
self.
at least the Native Americans would do like peyote and stuff, and then they go into smoke and the drums and all that stuff.
Well, they would meet their
I may need a little help.
their spirit guides. Not, you know what my spirit guide is in the Indian, in an American Indian, whatever you want to call it, Native Americans.
You're talking about your animal, or your
Not my
totem
spirit guide
thinger?
that they say no, but for it's a white buffalo.
How do you know this?
Years ago.
I'm sorry, I asked.
No, years ago.
Why did you ask?
Wait a minute, let me finish.
Scooter.
Let me finish. Years ago, when really bad things were happening, I was driving on a road really late at night, and all of a sudden, a white buffalo came running across the road, which was totally impossible in the state of New Jersey, and then it disappeared.
I really do think.
Could you just wait a minute? Let me finish, and then you can be snarky all you want to.
Sure.
And then I was talking, and I called my mom. At the time, she was still alive. And I talked to my mom, and I told her, and she says that has a significance for you, whether you believe it or not. Now, fast forward many years later, doing an interview on a psychic medium for the group to find out what she was like, she turned to me and she says, "You do realize that you're associated with a white buffalo." So there were like different aspects. That's just an example. There's more. So I'm just going to keep it from there. But there's something about the white buffalo.
See, I would think it was a horse.
Knee slapper.
You
Why
don't,
a
You don't
horse?
even know why. I was going to explain.
I thought you were
Now
going to
you're
say
just being
something
rude.
else. I thought you were going to say something smart.
Because what you said is horseshit.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Uh-huh.
Come on. You did not see a white, just like the sock hop, you did not see a white buffalo in New Jersey. There's no way, no how.
John Ruggiero.
No way.
That's the point. You're not listening to what I just said. A white buffalo ran across the front of the car at night and disappeared. What does that tell you?
That what I need to look into whatever hospital you were born into, because they use some
God.
weird drugs, probably experimental,
You're not an open-minded person at
and
all.
something happened there.
So everything you tell me that happens to you before I met you, or if I'm not with you, and I say to you it didn't happen.
Okay, name one outlandish thing that you think that I told you about what happened to me when I was younger. That sounds
you just
sounds
heard,
borderline unbelievable.
you heard me
Name
say
just
something.
one.
You
One.
heard me say something. I can't. You want me to pull something out of my tutu and
Because you
just like,
can't.
not at this moment. I can't.
Thank you.
But again, you are saying that my experience isn't real, and you can't do that. You cannot invalidate what I experienced.
Well,
it was my experience.
I had a
yours.
similar thing. Not quite what you had. I had been through the desert on a horse with no name once, and that was.
And these are
very
this is the reason why Chris does not have really in-depth, serious conversations about things I've experienced.
Yeesh.
Because even my past life, me telling you about what I dealt with, the hauntings and stuff, your comment
That's not even
was,
a past life.
I'm not talking about a past life.
You just said past life.
No. Well, meaning in my childhood and growing up, you said it had to be because psychosomatic or because of your trauma.
There you go.
No, because the trauma didn't
Turns out
happen
I'm
during
the one
that
with the
time.
trauma.
You are trauma. You are trauma.
Didn't know I had it. Apparently I do, according to some people.
No, you create
how that
trauma.
happened.
But no, you can't invalidate someone else's experience. I would never do that. You weren't there. You have no. That's exactly what happened. For whatever reason, that happened.
Okay. I believe you.
You don't have to.
If
That's the cool
if that
thing
gets
about
me
me.
out of this,
But that's the cool thing about
believe
me.
you.
I don't need you to validate. I know for myself,
Okay.
and that's
Well,
all that's what I
is,
value.
Yeah. Sure.
So now you can go and puff those smoke rings later.
I'm telling you, man, I am willing to sit there and drum and look at smoke. But if anybody knows me, and you guys know me, what do you think is going to be in my brain the whole time?
You're gonna start coughing. You smell the wood.
No. What do you think is going to? No.
You get thinking too much. You don't know how to let yourself go.
I'm not going to think any of those. What I'm going to be thinking is matrixing, matrixing,
Oh,
matrixing.
sure. You
Your
can't.
brain, if you look at the clouds, you
It's good
see
to
things.
hear all this before the wedding. Like everybody knows this is John and I.
It's you look at the clouds, you see things in the clouds.
Yes, right.
If you were to have smoke and blow and take pictures of it, and every now and then you're going to see someone literally took a speck of dust
Yeah.
and blew it up so much for me that they started showing me facial details within the dust.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, again, I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to blow up anybody's bubble. But it's like,
well, the human eye,
come on, man.
And your brain fill in things that you don't see. And when I'm doing scrying and stuff, I used to do.
I have the Dr. Pepper shirt, but this is my preferred. If there's a sponsorship, Coca-Cola out there,
yeah, nice.
This is what John drinks, Coke Zero.
But anyways, when he's talking about the visionary thing, is I used to do many years ago of showing you scientifically why it is that you can see what's really not there and what changes. The brain and the eyes fill in things, and I actually there's colors I can't see. I had a lot of eye problems when I was younger, and I went to the doctor. And anything that's backlit by light, I cannot see or read. And we used to have those overhead projectors, so I couldn't read those in school. And I found out all these different things with lighting and stuff. And a doctor told me that there's a way that you can trick the brain, like if you're trying to read a license plate when you're driving, is that you like no, I shouldn't use your license plate because they're all different numbers. But if you see a sign that's backlit, if you can pick out certain letters in that you can see, your brain can fill in the rest and you can pretty much figure out what that sign says. And it's actually true. You can do it. Just like those experiments with those where they'll write these statements and all the words will be backwards or weird, but you can actually figure out what it says even if it doesn't make sense. There's everybody's seen.
I'm trying that now. Oh, but I don't have that gift.
You know what I'm saying. But there's really a condition where your brain and your eyes will fill in what you're not seeing. So and I know that they have a word for it when you see like a face in the screen or whatever.
Matrixing, yeah.
But it's not just matrixing. There's another name.
What's it called? Is it pareidolia? Is that pareidolia?
Something like that. Yeah. But your brain, there is your brain and your eyes, the way that they fill in, and they do. Just like seeing different colors, like apple red or whatever. The apple's really not red. It's what you are reflecting onto that apple. Oh my
God. Or we're in the matrix and we don't even know what the color red.
There's a lot of science behind this. There's logical explanations for all of this.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah. How about that?
And I didn't smoke peyote either.
I don't know what's going on there.
Parasols. Yeah. See?
Anyway, we got the right? Did I say it right?
Pareidolia.
Yeah.
Pareidolia. Thank you, Ray.
Right. Anyway, we covered a lot and nothing all at the same time. Liberty Hall was awesome. Had a great time. Thank you to everyone who came out to that event. Again, Liberty Hall, great place. If you can go tour it during the day, I highly recommend it. Mention it. Beautiful. Carriage House is beautiful. Tomorrow night, here again, we may have to give Chris a volume for that conversation with Dalen because we're not talking about white buffaloes and any weird stuff with Dalen. This one, Scooter, might have to be my fill-in host for tomorrow, but we're going to have Dalen on tomorrow, Dalen Spratt, who is one of the Ghost Brothers, and now he's has his own YouTube channel where he's doing a bunch of stuff. And again, when him and I were going back and forth on Instagram,
it was funny.
It was about Graveyard Shift. If you don't know what that is, just go check that out real quick. I want you'll have an idea because him and I are going to talk about it. I would say it's controversial in my way of thinking, but others may not see it that way.
But maybe having that discussion.
But I don't want to have that conversation until tomorrow. But get an idea if you go check out his YouTube channel or just search Dalen Spratt Graveyard Shift, and you'll know tomorrow. Basically, the the majority of that conversation is going to be around why and the hows and there's a lot involved in that. So anyway, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Dalen. Tickets are still available for to be with Dalen at the Mine on June 21st, the week after the wedding. I wanted a week off to go away somewhere, but Chris was like, no, wedding will not
What Chris
get
is
in the
this?
way of the paranormal schedule. And I said, wait a minute, this is different. This is once in a lifetime here. And you still have to plan something for that day. And she's like, yes.
Do I have to wait another
Yes.
32 years before a honeymoon?
Yes. So
Yes, you heard it here. Yes.
anyway,
another
we'll see you
32
tomorrow
years.
night. Thanks for watching. 8 o'clock. We'll be with Dalen.
Good night, everybody. Be safe, be healthy, and please, please remember to be kind to each other. It
And
makes all
remember,
the difference.
Look for those white buffaloes in
That's
Jersey.
right.
They're out there.
Might save your life.
Bigfoot, I hear, rides them.
Good night.